George Rose, a great night of fights tonight. Where do we start? We'll start at the main event. Brock Jarvis, he looked pretty good in there tonight.
Yeah, look, I was really happy with how tonight went, and I thought Brock looked amazing. Brock headlined the card tonight, and I think he owned that fight like a headliner should. He looked good at the weight, looked very strong. Adrian, very tough, took some big shots, and but I really think that Brock looked fantastic at the weight.
Boxing at range there as well looked like a slight stylistic change-up. Did you like what you saw in there?
I think I liked everything that I saw from Brock this week. I think the weigh-in, there's been a lot of uncomfortable weigh-ins for him over the years, and I think that this weigh-in looked, he looked fantastic, and he came in, he looked really good coming into the fight, and I thought that he fought that way the whole way through. He owned it, fought long, fought strong. I thought he had a very heavy jab, and then body shots were they got him there in the end.
He mentioned he'll probably look to go down to 154, and he wants Nikita Tszyu next year. Is that a fight that you can make?
I can definitely make it. When it happens. We'll see what happens. But I think the big question mark coming into this fight was, how does Brock look at the heavier weight? And the answer was that he looks great. So there's plenty of really good fights for him to now have at super welter or middleweight. So I'd love to see him and Nikita. I think it'd be probably the two best looking blokes in boxing in the ring. So it could be, there's a lot of marketing that we could look at there. The two best looking blokes in boxing.
We also saw Michael Zarafa here tonight as well. He could get a chance at Nikita next year. Spoke to Tszyu yesterday. He said no chance of that fight. What's your thoughts on that?
Look, if Zarafa wants to fight, then we'll make fights happen. Like, it's just good that he wants to be active. He's been very inactive over the last few years. So if he's looking to get in the ring, he's one of the most polarising figures in Australian boxing. So he's a guy that you got to get in the ring and get him active and get him fights. And if that fight ends up being any one of the boys, I know it'll be a massive fight. I know everybody in Australia will be keen to see how that goes.
Shannon O'Connell, Jasmine Parr, a controversial result there. Your thoughts on that one?
Look, I guess the one thing that I want to state really clearly is that No Limit has no control over the judges or no control over the selection of judges. It's a combat sports sanctioned thing, and I think that I don't think what was read out matched the fight that I saw in the ring. I thought it was a great fight, though. Shannon and Jazzy. I thought they had a really good fight.
Rematch?
I'd love to see a rematch. Yeah, I think it was one of the most entertaining fights of the night, and I thought, I said it leading up to it. In saying that, there were some really good fights. I thought the Armandretta, Michael Reynolds fight was really good too. There was, I think everyone really turned it on tonight, and I'd love to see a rematch of that one. I thought they both did enough to earn it, and I think there's enough interest around it.
Also had the female world title fight and Callum Peters' debut as well.
Absolutely, yeah. I thought Desley fought very well there. Absolutely earned the victory. Great to see another Australian world champion. It's great for boxing here in Australia, and it's great to see, her recognition of the work that she's put in over the years, and now she's a world champion. And I've got no doubt they'll all be celebrating here tonight. And I thought Callum Peters looked fantastic on debut. Full credit to his opponent for stepping in at late notice, but I don't think Callum took his foot off the pedal. I thought he stepped up and showed what he's got to offer as a boxer and as a pro. He looked great. I think he's going to be a very entertaining, very exciting fighter, and he's one that I think everybody here in the country should get on board now, because he's going to be a very entertaining journey.
Two more for you. Tim Tszyu's podcast yesterday, great episode. Interviewed him yesterday as well. What'd you make of his comments? He seems to have learned a few lessons, but he also said that he just got clipped. So, what do you make of it all?
Yeah, look, it shows his maturity, and shows. I think it was good for the Australian public to know that he's learned some lessons from the loss, and he's ready to bounce back, and he's looking forward to a big year next year. So we all get the benefit of watching Tim Tszyu running around again next year. So I enjoyed the yarn. I thought it was really good. For me too, it was uncomfortable for me. I was sitting at home watching it here. I couldn't be there ringside for the fight. I haven't missed many of his fights over his years, and to sit down and break it down and have that yarn with him was good for both of us, I think. But good for everyone to hear from his point of view how he felt and what he's taken from it and where he's headed to from it.
Reflections on the year. It's been a great year. Got Japan next, heading off next Thursday. Thoughts on the year and also looking ahead to Semi's fight in a couple of weeks.
Actually, one more thing I will say about Timmy from the interview is that he said that he felt like he let the Australian public down. One thing that I will say is that he definitely didn't let anyone down. He's got the support thoroughly through and through. And, it's boxing and it happens and people stick by you through the thick and the thin. And so that's one thing that I just wanted to add about Timmy. But, yeah, great year. I was stoked to finish on tonight. I think tonight was a nice finish for us as far as our domestic promotions go. I thought it was a great fight night. Good crowd, good energy in the crowd. So I enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to celebrating with a couple of beers very shortly. But I know that the biggest celebration is still yet to come. We get another Christmas present. Sam Goodman travelling to take probably the hardest fight an Australians had for a very, very, very long time. I think, the class of Inoue and Inoue, you've got to understand that this is a very tough fight. And so when Sam Goodman wins this one, this is the biggest victory, the biggest upset in Australian sporting history. Like it's a huge task that he's stepping into. So I'm glad that I'll be there supporting ringside and looking forward to Sam getting his opportunity that he's earned. He's earned over his time. I said earlier tonight on the broadcast, Sam's a guy he's a son of Australian boxing. He's grown in the sport. 2 weeks ago he was down at the Australian national amateur title. Tonight he's here. Less than 2 weeks away from his fight. He's here supporting Australian boxing. He's supporting the professionals. He's supporting the amateurs. This is in the middle of the toughest boxing preparation camp that he's had. The toughest fight camp that he's ever had. He's still supporting other fighters from his camp, and it's a credit to the person that he is, and that's why I think that he's a person who deserves to be an undisputed world champion, and time will tell.
See you in Tokyo.
See you there.